Good evening and welcome to 27 Minutes here on WJTS 27. I'm Kurt Gutgsell. Coming up tomorrow, the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame located at the Rookser Student Center on the campus of Vincennes University. Jasper will celebrate the grand opening of the new addition to the Hall. Hall of Fame Executive Director Ray Howard gives us a tour of the new addition and talks about the grand opening tomorrow.
These are the inductee plaques that will be on the wall. They start from 2004 and go through 2007. And those were at least 20 of the ones that I had at the house for a long period of time. And they will continue along the wall. Eventually would cover that whole wall. And we go, the mural is a victory field, and eventually the whole mural, except for most of the sky, and part of it will get covered with plaques, but it's going to be a long period of time, and we felt it would be better to have something there for people to look at than, just a blank wall.
First of all, first thing of the interaction, it looks like you have a box here.
What this does, all the interactive boxes, the audio boxes explain, this one explains how you get inducted into the Hall of Fame and the procedure that has to go through, since eventually all the plaques will be covering this wall. So we've got, I think, 7 of those audio boxes that explain things to different people. We figure there's a lot easier for them to listen than it is to read. But then the audio doesn't say anything about Victory Field. It's basically the description of how a person gets inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And then down here is third base. We figure with 3 corners, that's a natural. So this is, we're looking for, obviously, Southern Indiana boys that people would recognize that are played or have played. So this is Scott Rowland's hot corner. And there are some items in there that he's generously donated to the Hall. They're not all out, but his uniform and a game-used glove, and obviously a game-used bat, and a Philly jersey when he was there. And we also have a sticker we're trying to figure out where to place that was over his locker when he was an 06 All-Star from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. And we also have batting gloves that we haven't figured out how we're going to display yet, but this is the beginning of his. And over time, he may move something in and out, hey, let's swap out a jersey for something else. And so he's been really helpful in helping us get this exhibit together for him. Same thing with the audio is a general information about Scott. Doesn't say a whole lot about the exhibit itself and what those things are, but it's more about information about him and a little bit about his career as he played through the Phillies and the Cardinals. This wall displays all of the state champions from 1967. There is an audio that explains a little bit about that. If you look along the top and you go to the hole in the wood and the space between the two, that's where we ended with single class and where we began class baseball. But there's a representative on these bats, represents every state champion we've had in Indiana since 1967, which was our first state championship tournament. The audio explains a little bit about that too, and how we went from single class to class.
Okay.
In second base corner, we decided to honor all of the Hoosiers that are in the National Hall of Fame in Cooperstown that were born here or spent most of their life here. And out of these 11, 10 of them were born in Indiana. The only one up here that was not born here but spent most of his life here was the first commissioner, which was Kennesaw Mountain Landis, and he lived in Logansport, and he was their first commissioner back in the 1920. And what we're doing, we have 3 items, or some items from a couple of the families. Obviously all these folks has passed away, so it's really hard to get any items of memorabilia from them, but Obviously, you can see the Mordecai Brown family has generously provided this replica of his Cubs jersey when he pitched in the World Championships for them. There's also the book that was written by his cousins, Scott Brown and Cindy Thompson, who were at the book signing Wednesday. And that shows his three fingers, which was his nickname. And then we'll also have by Ed Roush, his granddaughter is loaning to the Hall of Fame his actual bat that he used in the major leagues, which weighed 48 ounces. And we're having a little display on the wall beside that we're putting up today, as a matter of fact, we have a replica of his bat that weighed 48 ounces, and then we have a regular standard major league bat. So people will be able to at least pick it up and be able to feel the difference in what people are swinging now and what they swung back in his day, back in the 20s and 30s.
It's also an interesting story with Billy Herman too, because of his family now.
Yes, with Billy Herman, his granddaughter is the first lady for the state of Indiana, Sherry Daniels, our governor's wife, and he's from New Albany, and hopefully she has a few items left from his life that we're hoping that she'll bring one with her maybe when she comes to our grand opening on Saturday. And all of the other folks are from around Indiana, and there's only one, as far as we know, there's only one African American that's from Indiana. He was from Indianapolis, and that's Oscar Charleston, who's now in Cooperstown. Here we've got a thing from Old Comiskey Park, and I have a brick. Well, the brick's in there. We're getting ready to mount it today. That's actually from Old Comiskey Park. Glenn Rosenbaum, who was a traveling secretary for the White Sox for like 20 years after he finished his playing career, was able to see this was a limited edition print that they made, depicting going back through the years at Comiskey Park and some of the White Sox players, and he was able to secure that for us along with one of the bricks from the original park. So we think that'll be a nice display. Then we have the aluminum bat display, which has been more or less the savior for high school baseball. And at the time we received that from Easton Corporation, they were the largest manufacturer of aluminum bats, and I asked Rich Easton, who I'd met over the years, if he would give me something that would show how to produce an aluminum bat, expecting something relatively simple and small, and we ended up with this great exhibit that shows from beginning to end. Anyhow, and then this will be this audio will have three things on it. It'll have the aluminum bat on one side, and in the middle will be we have a glove display of the parts that go to make up a glove, which most people would never figure there's that many parts in making a baseball glove. We've had that from Rollins for a long period of time. And then the crafting of a wooden bat, down here shows the steps it goes through from the hunk of wood around into beginning to shape it to the finished product. Behind is going to be we have a display. It's not up. It'll be put up today. This is kind of what we call a locker room display. On the top case, we will have items from the All-American Girls Professional League. There's a young man in Tell City who collects stuff like that, and we've got 4 or 5 items from him. And then down below in the bottom, we're going to have a lineup card from the 1940 All-Star game. Robert Witten Sr. over in Huntingburg has that and donated that to the hall. And it has, of the 2 teams, 16 National Hall of Famers are played that year. And on the American League lineup, which is what we've got, 7 of those are in the Hall of Fame. So it's quite a piece, and we'll have that displayed in there on the bottom part. Then we have what we think is going to be one of our very attractive items. As you found out, you make the call where you get an opportunity to be an umpire. And they'll throw 10 pitches in a sequence, and you can determine whether it's ball or strike. They'll tell you whether you're right or wrong. And then based on the normal strike zone that's supposed to be used. And then after that, then you'll be told at the end how well you did, major league umpire, minor league umpire, little league, or go to umpire school. So we think that'll be an attractive piece for people to visit and interact with. Then at first base, one of ours down here is Don Mattingly, and although his display is not complete yet, we do have the uniform, which he provided game use uniform, as a matter of fact, for us. And in addition to that, there'll be a glove, a game use glove, a bat come from him, and a print that we had made when he went into the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame. So we certainly appreciate his efforts, as well as his agent, in allowing us to be able to do that. And as long as the uniform is used for public viewing, it belongs to the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame. And then there's an audio that talks in a very general way about Don and his career, and what he did with the Yankees a little bit, and currently what he's doing now after his 14-year professional career.
You also got a hat project up along the ceiling, I guess.
We have a hat project. It didn't turn out the way we anticipated it. We sent a note out through the Coaches Association to all the coaches. I think there's like 300 and some in the state that play baseball, schools, and asked them, we wanted to create a display that had as many hats in it as we could get from all of the schools, hopefully. And unfortunately, we ended up with somewhere around upper 30s or 40 out of 380 some schools that play baseball. So hopefully when, as the time goes along, we can get more and more of those in that display.
How did you come up with the color pictures of both the Victory Field, who did that, and also the stadiums that you have?
The Victory Field mural is actually painted by Tom Schum and his daughter Kim Schrader. And we took pictures up at Victory Field in Indianapolis, and they came down and put it out on the wall. The murals we were able to get from a company that's part of their business, and they're 8 by 12, and you tell them which ones you want, and they're pieced together in sections. So we have Yankee Stadium, obviously, for Don Mattingly, and we have Busch Stadium, new one for Scott Rowland, and then we got Wrigley Field for Cub fans like you and others. But we were looking for fields that people would recognize. We will try to get the Green Monster, but they didn't have a good picture that we thought was good enough for us to use. So we knew people knew about Yankee Stadium because they got the Y in there, and Busch Stadium with the arch, Wrigley with the bleachers and all the people out across the street, across Waveland. And so that was my thought in doing that. And it come out pretty well. And we thank Rosalie Belk and Buell and Kara Holtzman, who put the murals on the wall. South All-Star Series since 1975. And they played at Busch Stadium to begin with, and then now it's moving around the state. But this display has all the pictures of all the teams, the rosters, in most cases an MVP when they started that back in the 80s. And then there's also, in most cases, a program from that particular area. And then above that, the plaque on the wall designates the MVPs for that All-Star game. This case will hold on the top. We have information about the gentleman for whom this particular wing was designated to be named. We had a gentleman who donated a substantial amount of money and asked that the wing be named after this gentleman. This is the coach at Plymouth High School, Bill Nixon. And so we have a couple of items from him that are in there that we're going to keep through the openings that describe a little bit about his career. And there's a picture of him so people will know what he looks like, along with some people that he was able to garner into coming. Tommy Lasorda was at an event for him, along with his a couple of his children. And then there's a book that has some letters and things from some of his former players that are in there. He's now currently retired and lives in Florida. And there are other things that will be going in the bottom that I haven't put in there yet. We have a plaque out in front that talks about the origin of the Coaches Association, and we think that's a good place. And some other items that we have out there. We have a ball and a program from the last game that was played at Busch Stadium, the old Busch Stadium, and then we have a ball and a program and a ticket, a game ticket that we'll display in here that come from the first game that was played in the new Victory Field. So we'll be shifting and moving things around in here over the next 3 days. In the floor, we have baseballs. They thought that the design folks that were Universal Design thought that would be a good touch, so we put them in the floor at different places. Around Wrigley right now, there are some unique items. The pictures that you see that have the green cards in them are from a gentleman's collection in Terre Haute named Paul Frizz, who was an historian, and it has all of the people in it that were inducted into Cooperstown that are from Indiana that we have, along with some other major players in the old-time games that played. Freddie Fitzsimmons. It's got Carl Erskine's picture on there, cards. This gentleman had literally a basement full, I mean, from top to bottom. I had an opportunity to tour it one time, and it was just unbelievable, the material that he had in here. But it talks about all of those fellas. And then at the top, in the middle, is kind of a unique picture we have. That came from Indianapolis at old Washington Park, which being from Indianapolis, knew exactly where that was and played there on occasion before it was torn down. And that was the Indians and the New York Yankees played an exhibition game. And Babe Ruth is in that group, and we're getting an arrow to identify him. He's actually the 17th one from the left. And I mean, once you see him, why, it's very easy to identify who he was. But those are some of the things. It's still a work in progress. We'll still be adding things as we go along, and there are people I know that have indicated they have items that they would like to donate to the hall, but I wouldn't take them because I didn't have any place to display them. And now we can display some items that people have. So if they have something that they think might be worthy, they can certainly feel free to give me a call. We're very fortunate and very pleased to have the First Lady to come and to share in that grand opening with us, as her grandfather, Billy Herman, is in Cooperstown as well as our Hall of Fame. So we're really happy that she'll be joining us along with some other current Hall of Famers from around the area. And obviously some folks from Vincennes University and our local folks who've come to share in this grand opening. And it's about 2 o'clock. We're going to have a ribbon cutting, and there'll be 4 or 5 folks that'll speak shortly about some things that their involvement in the Hall of Fame and the opening. And then following that, we'll have a ribbon cutting. And following the ribbon cutting then until 5 o'clock, we're going to have an open house. And we encourage the folks from the community to come out and share and take a tour and to go through it. And be our associates, and Grandy's Catering is providing refreshments during that tour time. So we would encourage folks to come out and take a tour through the new opening of our grand expansion and the culmination of a lot of efforts and hard work from a lot of folks. And certainly then hopefully give us some feedback about what they thought.
Again, festivities start tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Hall of Fame. Stay tuned. We'll have more 27 Minutes right after this. Welcome back. Last weekend, award-winning artist Jerry Baum presented the Lincoln Boyhood Memorial with a special piece of artwork he created.
You can see that this is the softness of his hair, and his eyebrows are not the big bushy ones that you see today. But taking his eyes, his nose, and the mouth, that tight-lipped, like, yet with a little smile, the crooked bow tie, always crooked, never straight, in any of the paintings are photographs. And the softness of his face, and I wanted you to be able to feel his beard and his face. That's why I did what I wanted to do in the creation of this drawing. Not just another Abraham Lincoln. So with the 4 references that I had, I was so thankful to start that way with a lighter candle. And that's why I have it here. I light a candle in my studio every time I work. We've had some problems with shaky hands, but we'll get over that. So I hope that your trip here to Lincoln Land is one that you can walk out that door and think, well, maybe we'll see him up top the path. This is where it is. This is where it was before going on in his life. And I feel that this particular kind of drawing has to be the kind of thing that gives you a feeling of he's real. He was real. He is real. And for all the things that he stands for, with this kind of humanity, the faithful one will always be the faithful one in the United States of America, and for what it stands for. All the things we traveled worldwide, from Africa to wherever. Lincoln has been a solid piece in my heart, always has been, from 1939, 1940, up until right now. So I present to you, and all of you that have traveled, I just feel that I hate to say that it isn't humble, it's even more than that. It's a strange thing to have this thing come about. I had no idea a year ago it would be doing this. We're writing a book now. Tours never taken, tales never told. 200 years ago, we've gone back, Dr. Dan Combs. He's in the audience now, but we are working on that. And I feel better about that because of Lincoln. There's a lot of time in all of this. When the buffalo roam in the area, which there are buffalo right down the road from us, but this is something that I think is right. So I give this off to you, to a little statement that you'll find in this book. We've borrowed a measure of time from days long ago. We must return it now, but it will be always remembered. And I think that Lincoln would know that today if he were sitting at the back of the church looking at what we're doing here for him. Thank you all very much.
That's Jerry Baum. This will wrap up this edition of 27 Minutes here on WJTS 27. For the entire crew, I'm Kurt Gutgsell. Have a great night.